Hello friends, my name is Hernandez, and today I'll be talking about the books I'm going to read for Hispanic Heritage Month. Last year I decided that as part of Hispanic Heritage Month, I was going to make an effort to pick up books by Hispanic or Latinx authors during the month. Hispanic Heritage Month runs from September 15th to October 15th, and more than a readathon, this is a challenge. A challenge to add some books by Hispanic or Latinx authors to your existing TBR, whether that's one book, all the books, anything to diversify your reading in this specific way. You can add some to your September TBR, to your October TBR. I know some booktubers are also running Diversathon, which overlaps with the beginning of Hispanic Heritage Month, so it'd be great to add some books by Hispanic authors onto your Diversathon TBR. Basically, find and support Hispanic and Latinx authors. I think the number one request that I've gotten when I've been talking about Hispanic Heritage Reads on Twitter, where you should all be following me, is some kind of recommendation video. I'm definitely gonna do that, but it always gives me pause because I am not very well read in Hispanic literature. Part of the reason that I started Hispanic Heritage Reads last year was because that realization smacked me in the face. Part of being active on BookTube for me is that I became an even more critical reader, not just in terms of stories, but in the composition of the things that I was reading by genre, by category, and how it included diversity. Starting BookTube made me come face to face with the fact that I was reaching for the easily accessible, for the popular, and unfortunately, too many times that means for the non-diverse. Since then, I've made an effort to reach for things that cover all different scopes of life and different experiences and are produced by authors that are all different kinds of people. It's part of why I do Read Soul Lit in February and why I am organizing and encouraging people to participate in Hispanic Heritage Reads. Okay, long rambling introduction out of the way. I've actually got a list of books here, and it's a list of books that I don't intend to read all of, but I kind of padded it out because you guys know how I do with TBRs. I'm terrible with them, so I want to give myself choices and options and show you some of the things that I'm excited about. First up is a graphic novel, Julio's Day by Gilbert. Hernandez. Hernandez is a Mexican-American cartoonist, and in Julio's Day, he tells the story of Julio starting in 1900 on page 1 when he is born and ending 100 years later in 2000 on page 100. In the YA category, I have Labyrinths Lost by Zoraida Cordova. Cordova is a young adult and new adult author who was born in Ecuador and raised in New York. In Labyrinths Lost, Cordova tells the story of a young witch who hates her magic, and in trying to get rid of it, she accidentally gets rid of her entire family. I also have The Weight of Feathers by Anne-Marie Mclemore. Mclemore is a Mexican-American YA author whose book and forthcoming release are both magical realism. In the story, we focus on two feuding families who are both traveling performers, and I was already here for magical realism, but it sounds very Romeo and Juliet-ish with traveling performers. In the adult category, I have Into the Beautiful North by Alberto Urrea. Urrea is a Mexican-American poet and novelist. This is a story of a 19-year-old Mexican girl who decides to travel north and cross the border into the United States to look for men who can defend her village, since all the men from her village have already gone to the United States to work. I also have Night Prayers by Santiago Gamboa. Gamboa is a Colombian author. Night Prayers was originally written in Spanish and translated into English by Howard Curtis. Night Prayers is told in alternating perspectives, but primarily follows the story of Manuel, who is a philosophy student who is arrested for drug trafficking, and unless he pleads guilty to this charge, he will die. Faced with all of this, his one wish is to see his sister one last time. In the nonfiction category, I have Undocumented, a Dominican boy's odyssey from a homeless shelter to the Ivy League, and that is by Padilla Peralta. The title very obviously tells you what this book is about, and Padilla Peralta is a Dominican American author. And then finally, in the short stories category, I have This Is How You Lose Her by Junot Diaz. This is a collection of short stories all about love, tied together by the narrator that we actually met in Diaz's book, The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde, which I absolutely loved. I did actually try to read his other collection of short stories, Drown, last year, and I couldn't get through it because it was stressing me out because it was too real. Like, it was hitting me in the feels in a way that I just couldn't deal with at that point. So I'm gonna try This Is How You Lose Her this year. and we'll see how that goes. I really hope you guys decide to take up this challenge this month. Remember that if you make a TBR video, a wrap-up video, a favorites video, a rec video, if you tweet about your reads, anything that you do, put the hashtag Hispanic Heritage Reads so we can all follow along. As I said, I will be putting together something of a favorites video, and I'll also be giving away some of those favorites over on Twitter, so stay tuned. I'd love to hear from you down in the comments about whether you plan to participate, if you have any books in mind for what you want to read, and if you've read any of the books on my list. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys soon. Also on the back burner, depending on how much I read and what my mood is like, I have Everything Ever Written by Benjamin Alire Sanz.